In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use the HDMIP encoder to upload a stream to YouTube. You can use any HDMI input into the encoder and upload it to YouTube via an RTSP stream. In this particular example, I have an NVR connected to my encoder. So first, I'm going to open up Google Chrome. I have it opened up to my YouTube channel. You can, of course, just navigate to the home page on YouTube, but we're going to leave this tab open for later in my guide. So I'm going to click the new tab button here, and the software that we need to download to stream to YouTube is called Open Broadcasting Software. You could also use alternatives like vMix or XSplit, but OBS is an open source and free software. So I'm going to type in Open Broadcaster Software. It's going to search Google. You could also type in obsproject.com and get to this site as well. The home page here has a Windows download, so I'm just going to click the Windows download. It's going to go ahead and start the download for me here. After it's finished downloading, it may take longer for you if you have a slower internet connection. You can go ahead and click on the software to install it. Click Yes to allow it to make changes. Click the Next button to continue through the installer. Click Next to agree to the license. Install it on your computer. It may take some time to install depending on how fast your computer is. And then you can, of course, launch the OBS Studio software. So after launching OBS software, you will be prompted with an auto configuration wizard. We're going to choose the first option, Optimize for Streaming, and click Next. Here it's going to set a resolution for our canvas and a frame rate. Now this depends on what your encoder has for its input, generally speaking, and you'll usually want to leave it as a 1080p canvas. We're going to click the Next button. Here's where we need to go to YouTube to get our stream key. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to go back over to Chrome. Here we're on the YouTube website. You're going to want to log into your YouTube account. And at the top right hand side, you're going to either have this Create button here or a Profile button here. So you're going to want to go ahead and click your Profile button here, and then you're going to see the YouTube Studio button. Click the YouTube Studio button. So now that you're in the YouTube Studio, you can come up to the Create button at the top right hand side and click the Go Live button. This is going to take you to the streaming platform inside of YouTube Studio. Here you can see automatically it should take you to create a new stream, and you can of course click the Edit button at the top right hand side to change the settings for your title, description, all of the other YouTube settings that are available, and also your live chat moderation settings. However, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to cover any of those settings, and I'm just going to get this stream up and running. The stream key that you need to copy is going to be on the left hand side of the stream interface in YouTube, and to reveal it, you're going to want to click this eye icon. It's going to reveal the stream key. You're going to want to highlight it completely, right click and click copy. If you know the keyboard shortcuts, you can of course use those to copy and paste. And then we're going to come back down to OBS Studio. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of the stream key that's here. I'm going to right click, click the paste button, and then click the next button. You can leave this checked, estimate bitrate with bandwidth test. It's going to test your internet to pick the best settings to upload the output from the encoder up to YouTube. So I'm going to click the Next button. I'm going to click Yes to allow it to test. It's going to take about a minute to test my internet connection. If you have a slower internet connection, it might take a while. As you can see in the background, it's successfully connected to my YouTube account and is now displaying this white fuzz that OBS is using to test my internet with. It's going to go ahead and test a few different resolutions and settings here. And after some time, it should finish its testing and come up with some suggested settings. You're going to want to click OK to accept those settings, or click Apply Settings. As you can see, I applied those settings, and now my stream has ended because the test was over. Now, in order to get my encoder up on my screen, I'm going to come down here to the Sources part of the software. I'm going to click the plus button here, and the source I need to actually use for my encoder is called a media source. I could of course name my media source if I wanted to, but I'm going to leave it as the default name media source. You're going to want to make sure that the source is visible. So we can click OK. Here is the local file setting. You're going to want to uncheck this. And here in the input, you can use the RTSP stream from your encoder. So my encoder has the factory default IP address, so I'm just going to use RTSP : / and then the IP address of my encoder. Again, the URL you're going to use starts with RTSP : / and then the IP address that is set on your encoder. By default, your IP address on your encoder should be 192.168.1.168. You can click OK and leave the rest of the settings as default. After some time, you should see that your encoder starts to appear. As you can see, I have a camera pointed to the front of our office, and then I also have the encoder added to the NVR, so it creates kind of this repetition here on the top right hand side for channel 2. Now we can see that the encoder is definitely getting picked up by open broadcasting software, but in the background our stream is offline. In order to start our stream, we need to click the Start Streaming button. So, as you can see, I clicked the Start Streaming button, and after some time, my stream started appearing on my YouTube Studio account, and it says I have an excellent connection. You can see your concurrent viewers here, and of course you could do anything on your OBS to add anything you want to on the screen, and then do whatever you need to on the device that is outputting the HDMI to the encoder. For example, if I wanted to access my NVR and show somebody what I'm doing on my NVR, I could of course stream that over to YouTube. Hopefully this video helps you get set up streaming the HDMI encoder to YouTube. Thank you for watching.